999 show art night, Saturday night, Saturday Night Live, and I made this paper mache mask last fall, maybe like in August or September, and I painted an underpainting on it, and now we're gonna just try something. I don't really know what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna just kind of start with this ear here. And what I put down on here is some gel medium. And so what we'll do is we're just going to do thin layers of transparent paints till we get something, that we can work off of. That's what we're going to do. So I think I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with this yellow ochre here. And we're just going to go in the inner part of the ear, because the inner part of the ear, I think, is going to be like darker than the outer part. I do believe that I do have some gesso. I think I'll just do the whole ear. I do have some gesso down on it. And so I don't really know what the final outcome is, because I've been staring at this kind of thing for several months and thinking, oh, I need to do something with this, but I really don't know what. Sometimes it's that way, you get an idea, but how to finish it and what to do, you just get kind of stymied. Hello, Elizabeth, welcome. So we're just doing. You're here but not here, Mama Sushi. Well, that's good. I'm kind of not really here either. I was I did my volunteer job today. Had a really nice day. One thing that would have been made it nicer is if no one came into the store, but I had a real good conversation with this one gentleman early on, and who was autistic, and he kind of totally knew where I was coming from, because I have audio processing disorder, and if it is even a disorder, and I was like looking up there and thinking, how is it that I think? Do I think in pictures? Do I think in words? Do I think in sounds and images? I think I may think in images, but I really don't know. It's like I should know, but isn't that kind of funny? You got these things that you should know how to do, but you just don't know how to do. I just don't know. But because I used to have this. I think I'll do more of this thing. Hi, Jacob. Welcome, Jacob. Maybe we'll just do more of this thing in the yellow ochre. I think because we're just going to start here with one color, I am going to I have some of this other yellow ochre. There's no sense drying out the whole, my whole paints here. I am painting this. This is a paper mache mask it's a paper mache face, animal face. I made this last summer. It's not going to have eye holes in it or anything. So I guess you're looking at a paper mache. It's a paper mache wall hanging is what it is. So I wanted to make it some kind of an animal creature. And so what I'm doing right now is putting a sort of a base coat down of yellow ochre, and then I will do another color on top of that. Welcome. Welcome. So, yeah, and I was thinking it's been a long time since I'd done a... So you making paper mache for art class. Well, that's fun, yeah. So this is paper mache. And it is... It has some painting, it has an underpainting on it, and so I'm just kind of coming in into the underpainting and making just putting another layer down. And I think I really want the inner part of the ear kind of a darker color, like maybe a very dark brown. But I really had this image of... Welcome, Jesse. I had this image of wanting it to be more like a black and yellow, like a bumblebee, like a bumblebee, kind of black and kind of in a sense of like bumblebee kind of. That's kind of how I imagine this, like last September. I'm just going to show you what I got here. This here is gel medium, and I am using golden acrylics. Yeah, to hit that, Yeah. And so I'm just going to work on the ears tonight. I'm not really going to go too much beyond like 1 hour. I was watching Northern Exposure and hanging out with my mom, and she's still watching the Northern Exposure. Painting, I guess you could say it's a hobby. I don't know. I do a lot of different... I've been painting for a while. Actually, I think that if I'm gonna I'll just tell you really bluntly, art is my profession. Art is what I consider to be my profession. And even though I don't necessarily make enough money from art to pay the bills, but I still consider it's my life, like a lifelong thing. I've been the first art that I started with was poetry, and I started writing poetry in 1987 when I was 19 years old. So I started doing painting in 2016. Since 2016. But yeah, I guess it's hobby. I don't know. I really don't know, because it's a little bit yeah, hobby. I guess that works. That does work. That works. Hobby works. So I don't know if that makes any sense. So we're just going to do at least the top half of the forehead in this yellow ochre. And then I'm going to come in with... And so what I'm dealing with, as you can see, these are transparent colors. And these are transparent colors. We're using, and so you can look down into it and you can see all the colors. Thank you. Thank you for subbing. You are now number 1,159. You're number 1,159. Now, art is not the only thing I do on this channel. This is a variety show. I do a lot of art, but I do other things besides art. And we'll just do the top half of the guy's head. I'm not going to paint too much. I'm just going to paint for a certain amount of time. Thank you. We're just going to paint for a certain amount of time. And so the exercise that we're really doing here is since we're doing thin transparent layers, layer it on top of it until the desired color starts to come forth. And let's just go across the eyes here. I think I kind of want, we want like a being like a black bandit or something like that. I think right across the eyes, but I maybe some actual eyes that then, so underneath the black bandit kind of a look, there'll be you know, maybe some slits in there with like some actual eyes. I think that might be kind of cool. I have quite a few mods right now. I have one mod here and some other ones, and but I'm not really quite looking for any new mods at this time. And plus, I don't really know you either, so. Yeah, I will keep you in mind. Well, I don't want this painting to get disturbed, so let's go in and start applying a different color. I'm just going to do that inner ear part, and we'll let this dry on there because I can only do so many layers of paint when we're dealing with acrylics. You can only do so many layers of painting in one session, because what tends to happen is that all the colors run together and they turn into mud. And so it can be really a frustrating thing when you're working with acrylics, or it's probably the same with oil paints too. And so now I'm going to go after, the next color I'm going after is this one, and it is Azilron Crimson. It's an Azilron Crimson, and so it should come up from here. We should kind of get it. It'll so we're going to thin this out. I'm just going to put this on here. So beyond that, I'm not really going to put too much on there. But you know, when you see an animal's ear, it's kind of darker on the inner part. Hello, John. Looks like you came for the tragedy. You came for theater night. I'm revisiting my masks. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Well, it's getting to be spring, summer, and I got some mask molds, and so I probably might even start doing paper mache again. So what I have this clear substance on here, This is gel medium. And so it does slow the drying process down, but I don't know exactly. It's kind of like using it like a paint thinner. Welcome. Welcome, Caleb. Hey, Caleb, are you Jacob's friend? Are you like my nephew Jacob's friend, Caleb, or are you a different Caleb? Okay, so you are Jacob's friends. Cool. I haven't seen Jacob in a while. He's all very busy with his life, but then again, he is 25 years of age, and you know what? Let's go with a different color. Let's go boom, boom, boom. Where do I want to go from next on this? Clean off the brush. Do a different color. Oh. I don't know if I can put another layer down yet. I think we'll have to. We'll see. We might be able to do that. So, Caleb, were you the one? Now you didn't do at. You weren't the DJ at the wedding last June, were you? Or you the? Welcome, Maria. The blonde guy that's into construction and stuff like that. Was that you, or am I confusing you with someone else? Okay, so this one has. You were the DJ. Okay, I remember you very well. I remember you. Yeah. For some reason, I thought you were Ryan's friend, but all right, cool. All right, well, we're not using that color. We'll put this down. We'll put that down. Let's go with some of this green. This is a Phthalo green. Gonna add this in here. Yeah, so Caleb's practically family. John. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what we're trying for is the color to change optically. Now, that's like 3 layers of paint down here, and I'm not going to be able to do another layer of paint in that spot tonight. So we'll go into just another area. You can see here it does look a little bit darker shade. That phthalo green is and almost giving it like a black tone. I should have got my hair dryer out for this one, and I still can. I guess I just get the hair dryer and then I plug it in, which I think I better do. It might be a pig's ear. But you look at it, you can look at it optically, you can see that those 3 colors in there has a darker kind of a darker tone to it. Yeah. You can see that optical effect. There. Especially on that side. You can see this almost looks like it's black. But you were here, you saw it. It was yellow ochre, Zilron crimson, and phthalo green. And it gives it this sort of a dark grayish color. Oh, I see. Painting of pigs here. All right, well, let's just go on. Maybe we'll change brushes to a thinner brush. Huh. Well, it's cool. What brush do I want to use? A liner brush. I'm not going to use any of my watercolor brushes on this one. We'll just use a liner brush then. All right. So, what other color do I want to come in here? We'll have it maybe a lighter color. Let's just see here. Let's just take this yellow. Come down here with the yellow. Streaks of yellow and go and change the colors here. What a nice day it was today. Nice and warm. Mr. Caleb, yeah, and then my niece is going to be having her baby soon. And her daughter's going to be, existing daughter's going to be kind of jealous now, probably because it's like the second one comes along after 7 years. Yeah. Teething babies and little Pee-wee's getting so old. I was gone all day and the little doggy seemed to be missing me. It was also touching to know that your little dog misses you, because when that little dog first came to the house, she didn't like me at all. It's taken years for little Pee-wee to begin liking me. And it just kind of gets like a mustard sort of a look to it. Is it 24 minutes in? Okay, we'll just work on the ear, the pig's ear. We won't come anywhere near getting it done. To be working on this thing a long time. I don't want to disturb my paintings here. Guess we better move that out of the way. Like that. Move that tarot deck out of the way too. So I was thinking like blonde hair or something like that. It kind of maybe a reddish blonde hair for the outside of the ear. But then that kind of goes against the whole theme of having a like a bumblebee kind of effect, but maybe we have that bumblebee effect in its kind of optical colors. Or, you know, nothing's set in stone. All right. I think we can go do that second layer here before let's see if we can add a different color, or I think the paint's too wet. It is. So we'll come over to the, maybe we'll go into here and we'll add a different layer of, let's just see what happens. It's okay. It'll work. If I go do a different layer of, this is a quinacridone magenta. I'm just going to see what's going to happen. I'm going to come in here with just some different effects in here. So, John Savage, what kind of art do you do? My ears are like ringing pretty bad today. I wonder how many years I've had these ringing ears. For a long time, I think. A long time. I'm trying to think, did I have it when I was a teenager? I'm a little dizzy too. All right, let's go around to the other side, back over here. Okay, so you used to draw portraits? And then do you like drive a cement truck now? Let's see, what color do I want to go from here next? A complement. What is that? Complement to that. Let's just go back to, let's go back to this color. See what happens. Yeah. Well, I knew that John was an artist. I knew that. I think it was Ange that said he was an artist. Mm-hmm. You're a carpenter. You know, John, the guy I used to hang out with when I was in Seattle is a high-end carpenter who he's like, well, he's close to 70 years old now, but he does he restores and does boats. He works at a in Seattle in a one of those Lake Union docks, and they go pull the boat out of the water. Sometimes they don't pull the boat out of the water, and hmm. Oh, wood shop class. Huh. I used to take wood shop class. I liked wood shop. It was kind of fun. Art class and wood shop class. I did lots of that stuff. One time in art class in high school, that was the last time actually. I don't think I took any art after high school. I don't really recall. Yeah, boat building. Yeah, it's boat. He does boat building, boat repair. When I met him, I didn't actually know that, but he was like he he was a hell of a poet, and he was a poet writer, and so I met him in the spoken word poetry scene in Seattle, and so for like 10 years of his life, he uh, every week he did an open mic. I think that was after his divorce. It was after his divorce, and then I got to be really good friends with him in the last like 2 or 3 years that I was in Seattle. We hang out and hang out together. Just usually just read poetry and stuff like that, or write poetry together. And he's a really great guy. He did animation work, and I think I want to add a blue to this. It's gonna kind of gray it out, but that's fine. Hmm. Yeah, this is bordering on too many layers in one day. We're at 33 minutes in. Hmm. I bought a box today while I was at my volunteer job, and another box I can add to put my stuff in. I'll pull it out here just before we end up closing out here. I was thinking of putting some of my tarot decks for and doing my for kits together, because I have that one kit. I hope it works. It's an old cigar box, but I like it's kind of a. I like stuff like that. Yes, it looks kind of optically gray. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That works. It works. Hmm. Built circular and architect stairs and stuff. Yeah. So then you're kind of like a friend of mine who I met in Everett, Washington, at an open mic, and Simon Oculus. That's his artist name. He lives in some the second largest French-speaking city in the world. It's in Canada. I can't remember the name of it. I can never remember the name of it. but he got Canadian citizenship in his 20s and 30s by marrying a Canadian woman, and then they got divorced when he was like probably like 1 or 2 years before I met him is when they got divorced, and he just came back home to Washington State, and um, his work is just magnificent work. But he was good at a lot of different things, writing poetry. He's a highly imaginative writer. But yeah, but he does immigrant labor in Canada, and he's I think he's 6 months older than me, so my age, but maybe a little bit older. I don't want to make that green, so let's go like a lighter red. Hmm. This. Let's go roll this up in here and get it to be kind of an orangey effect. At this point in time, it doesn't look like much. Mm-hmm. And his current wife is a speech. Crap. That brush just shot out right out of my hand. I call it the kind of labor he does is immigrant labor. He does the labor that he does. Uh, well, he spent like 6 months painting staircases and stuff in that city. I can't remember what the damn name of the city is. I can never remember that. Is it Toronto? Toronto? No. French-speaking city in Canada. In French-speaking city in Canada, he does immigrant labor. Quebec. Okay. So he's in Quebec, and he and his wife, they wanted to move to a mega metropolitan. They wanted to dump the automobile, and then they sold their house in Marysville, Washington, and then bought a house outright in Quebec, and then yeah, and because he's a lifelong artist, he's been a jack of all trades. Like all lifelong artists, they tend to not have. So yeah, he does construction work. That's what he does. He's a carpenter. But before he moved up there, he was driving. He was driving a school bus of of kids in and out of juvenile detention, and yeah, yeah, it's interesting where life takes us. We just never know. We just never know. It's so fascinating. You're young and you have all these ideas about what the hell you're gonna do with your life, and more often than not, none of that stuff happens. I don't know of very many people who plan do something and then ended up actually doing it. I mean, granted, my cousin's husband, he's a physicist and he teaches physics at a teaches physics at a college in Washington. But he didn't know where he was going to end up teaching. He just got lucky that he ended up teaching in his home state, but like a million miles away from where his folks live. But you know, that's just like a an exception to the rule. The rule is you grow up, you got these ideas about what you're gonna do, and then something else happens. Something else entirely happens. The marriage doesn't work out, or whatever. You know, you have a bunch of kids, and maybe that doesn't work, or maybe it does work. You know, or you work things out, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're like me, and you want to have kids, you want to have all that, but it just plain doesn't happen for you. And next thing you know, you're 40 years old, and then it's like, okay, this probably ain't gonna happen for you. I'm 40, and then you're 50, and then there you are. You know, your plans just never worked out, at all the way you planned it. And then, yeah, well, my dad was a physicist, but he put his physics to work uh, operating a lumber mill, and then when he could no longer compete with the big people, he got out of business, which was like right around, I think 95, I think 95, and then he went to work at that. I've talked about that casino often. He went to work there. He started washing dishes, and I like thinking about it because you know he's been dead now almost 14 years. It'll be 14 years this year. Is that right? 13 years. 2012, 2025. No, it's 13 years. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up that in June, June 24th. And yeah. And I always wanted to hmm, miss the starting gun. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but it was like kind of funny because my dad was like working at that casino. He thought, well, you know, he tried for after he shut his mill down and everything and all that. He tried to work as a millwright at one of the local. He did do that, but he was on like this nasty rotating shifts, like you know where you do day shift and graveyard shift and swing shift all during the same week, you know, and that was just was just kill was a killer on it, you know, and you know because on top of being a physicist, my father was a mechanical genius, and which is where his genius was and being able to fix anything for the most part. I can't fix anything, but anyways, and but then so he goes to work at this casino, and since he hadn't really worked, you know, when you're self-employed, you don't really have a work history. You don't have a provable work history when you're self-employed. Now, when he went to work as a millwright, all those mills, they knew him, so it wasn't like he had to go through the application process or anything. But anyways, he's the he was like almost 60 years old. Yeah. Yeah, he was like almost like 60 years old, and he went to work as this uh, as a dishwasher in a casino, and but because he was almost 60 years old, they wouldn't promote him, and he kept on asking to be promoted, into a cook's position because he wanted to make more money. And eventually, after like a year and a half, they promoted him out of the dish pit. And this was a giant dishwasher. This dishwasher in that casino buffet was a huge dishwashing machine. It was almost like a like 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 an edger, or it was almost like something you might see in a sawmill. And you had you fed that you had I think that required, I think you could operate it on a minimum of, I think, two people. You had a person who fed the dishes in. You had the person on the other side that caught the dishes and to stack them. But generally, in the buffet, they had because I worked in that buffet too, but I worked in that buffet as a cashier. And so, for instance, on New Year's Eve, I had $10,000 in sales in one shift on New Year's Eve, and so you're looking at where where it was like 17 or $20 a pop per person, and you doing $10,000 of sales, and you know that was the highest sales day. I think somebody got like 12,000, but someone else got 12,000. But I didn't want to move off of that cash register because I just wanted to see how much of a sales I could run on it. But anyways, so he started in that dishwasher. So there he was. He was working swing shift. He's almost 60 years old. Like the same age I am now. The same age I am now is when he started that job as a dishwasher after being self-employed for years and years and years. And then I kind of like that. That's kind of a nice theme. I still want to work on that to get that kind of a blackiness. And then while he was working as a dishwasher, working there, he also, while he was there, this is all things that people who remembered him told me, because I went to work there at that casino after he had passed away. And so there were people who knew him, and they told me that while he was there, he helped about 20 people pass mathematics and chemistry classes and basic physics classes and everything that had gone in through that casino in order to doing further education there. And so that was like one of the things he did. And so but a lot of people just didn't know, because where a lot of people would, when they get done working, they might go out and go drinking. Well, that wasn't my dad didn't drink. And then oftentimes, okay, so he got off work at about 11 o'clock at night, and then he would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He would go out and split wood, because he had a wood business on the side, firewood business. And so in order to try to live within your means, because he wasn't making a whole lot of money as a dishwasher, because this was like in the 90s, and the property taxes on the house were quite a bit, and so he paid the property taxes for the house off of firewood sales. And then because I think I was because I was thinking about this the other day, because he was like, here he was, you're there working. But then there was the other thing that he did on the side is that he became friends with one of my physics professors from college because I took physics in college, and then I introduced him to my dad. And so my father was washing dishes and doing stuff like that, doing the wood, tutoring people, and then, unbeknownst to his coworkers, he was doing the grunt work mathematics on this paper that my physics professor friend was working on and doing the special theory of relativity, and so he was doing this grunt mathematics work. And then so while he was washing dishes, he was like doing math in his head and mathematics, and yeah, I'm gonna have to. This paint's starting to get dried up here. I don't know how much longer I can use it. But anyway, I'm sorry if I just blathering on about, you know, just remembering. Yeah, I miss my dad. He would be 86 years old if he were still alive today. And my mom just turned 85. And yeah. 85. Yep. Yeah, that high level intelligence, yeah, and his mom was an immigrant from Sweden. Um, and she so much wanted the social cred of having a son that was a college professor, but that just never happened. He was in a PhD program. Let's see, he was born in 1938, and he graduated from high school when he was 17. And he graduated from college when he was 21, and at age 21, he is going into a PhD program over in Maryland, and he graduated from the Harvard of the West Coast. Hi, Kaz. Yeah, it was. He was just, but then when I was actually really so proud of him because when he retired, he was working as a cook, and I'd never seen him cook a day in his life, and so he learned. He never really cooked at home, but cooked. He learned how to be an industrial cook in a casino, and that's not exactly easy work. You're not like, um, you know, you gotta, cooking 20 hamburgers at the same time. He was working on the deli grill. Or maybe it'd be times working, doing 20 hamburgers at once. One of those kind of things. I mean, that's a. I didn't really know him to be a multitasker, but I guess apparently was. And when he was sawing lumber, he was also doing mathematics in his head as well, and he was always doing math proofs and everything as I'm growing up. This paint over there is turned to mud. I think I might be able to do a little bit more. Yeah, I can do another layer over there. Yeah, it's more math. Yeah, you got it. Got it. It's more math. It's the person who would be his great granddaughter is also a mathematical genius, and she's like 7 years old, and she can't read yet, but she can do mathematics. What color do I want to go here? I got green. Maybe I want to go back to do that. Another layer of the red, of this red here. All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be getting off here in just a few minutes because most of my paint here has turned into mud, and I'm just gonna do a little bit here. See what kind of effects we can have. But maybe my pig's ears will look like it's actual hair in there. That's a little bit too wet, but we'll go put it on anyway. I didn't really have a clear idea of what the hell I was doing here, but yeah, anyways. It's gonna come back around 12:21 tomorrow, and I'll put on my my clergy shirt, and we'll do poetry again. Some more Walt Whitman, and that'll be pretty much will conclude National Poetry Month for me. I might do a recap episode like I've done with the paintings. I think I will, which will, you know, come out with all the poems that I did for National Poetry Month, and there and there, that green in there. It does look kind of black, and that's kind of what I wanted, optical black. Yeah. Well, I thanked everyone for coming on and hanging out with me tonight. That was really a lot of fun. It would be even better if you could you can actually pop on and we could talk. Sometime I'll have to have Cosmic on. Have a conversation, do some painting or do something. Anyways. Well, yeah, I have that box. That's right. The box that I bought today. Let's go buckle up. Let me see how many decks I can fit into it. So that we're just starting here, and I'm gonna put this away for a second. So Mama Sushi, I bought this cool box today. A cigar box, it was like $5 at the multi-vendor store that so I was thinking I wanted to put some of the decks that I use for divining. Yeah. Thinking what I can fit in here. It's too bad. I guess I could have got the bigger one, and then I could put my my missile in it, but I don't think that's the way that's going to go. So we can put my this tarot in it, and this tarot, and you know, that joke deck is just that joke deck. And then maybe this Oracle deck, something like that. Maybe for good measure, I can put this little deck in here too. So it looks like I can put a few items in. It might be nice if to get another rosary like this, so I can put this my rosary in it. But I like having this rosary out on my table. Maybe a crystal ball? No. Some prayer cards. I can do that. I can put some prayer cards in. Maybe I have for that I have this kit here, which has my it has my other keyword deck in it, and has that mini keyword deck. Yeah, that was some girl gave that to me. It was some girl that I had a real bad crush on in college, and then she became Catholic, but she's way more conservative then I couldn't go there. I couldn't go where she went. I couldn't go there. And so this is my my other keyword deck for that I'm using until I get all the cards memorized. I mean, but I like that. It's okay. This was I bought it off of Etsy, and so it's a. It was not a cheap deck. It wasn't cheap. But for a pocket-sized keyword, I mean, because they don't necessarily make these, but I think what I might do is convert, because I really like that Apprentice Tarot a lot. I wish they made it in a pocket size. But anyway, so this kit has my Crosswords Oracle. I suppose I could fit this in here too. And it has my Scrabble tiles and dice and so forth. And so that's what this kit has in it. Crosswords Oracle, my mini pocket-sized keyword deck, and then these are the other cards I divine with. And I think we can fit some other things into it as well. Well, that's heavy there. There's some heavy cards. But it would have been nice if I could fit the... You know, I might be able to fit one of those New Testaments in there. I got those pocket New Testaments. Room for growth, though. If I were to do a different deck, I could go with this Morgan Greer here. Morgan Greer. Yeah, and maybe depending on what you're doing, that Oracle, Morgan Greer, yeah, something like that. It's all there, and then I don't know what I did with that New Testament. It's here. I just don't know where. Where here? Anyways, that's all I got. That's all I got for you guys. Did some work on that mask. Show you this new little box here. Kind of a place to put some of my decks in. And then if you haven't checked out my new channel, Tools of Fortune, you know, you can go there right now. It's just it's just got some. I just was having some fun. Doing some fun readings. Some fun video readings using this deck of cards here, the Real Life Tarot, which is it's pretty much like a joke deck, but you know, you can use it to tell stories with, which is like, you know, you got cards like the BS Artist, got lots of different cards, and this has helped to work on your storytelling skills, which is what I'm using it as you know, because I do have some of those skills already as impromptu writing, spinning poetry in the moment. And so I'm just using these cards to make stories in the moment, which is fun. And so I am on Tools of Fortune. I am using this deck a lot. No, I'm also using some of my other decks too, so that, you know, I can use a non-keyword deck. And I'm doing when I'm answering the questions, I'm not shutting the camera off. So it's all in one session. So if I have to go diving into a guidebook, then I'll dive into a guidebook. But this one has no guidebook. It's whatever you come up with in the moment. And anyways, that's that. So thank you for your support on 999 Show. Next Saturday, I'll be coming on at 7 Eastern. So that's 4 p.m. I'm coming on 4 p.m. And I'm having Miss Tarot D on, and we're going to be coloring the tarot. And the card we're coloring is the Empress card. So I haven't done a coloring the tarot interview for weeks and weeks now, since maybe last month or the very first part of this month. And so we're getting started back on doing interviews, and so I'm going to try and have at least one guest on a week. I want to get Cosmic Orphan on here, and we can go shoot the breeze or do something like that in the evening time sometime. And anyone else who wants to be a guest, that's fine. You can email the show. Anyways, that's all I got for you. Have a great evening, and I'll be back 12:21 p.m. for National Poetry Month, Chapel of Poetry. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye, and thank you very much.